to Virtual STEM Club Littles Edition Crystal Magic. My name is Eileen and I'm going to be doing this project with you today where we are going to be growing our very own colored crystals. You should have already picked up your take and make bag here at the library, and that is going to have most of the supplies that we need to complete our project. Caregivers, we are going to need a pair of scissors and some hot water, but that's going to be a little bit later in the video and I'll go over all of that. Alright, so as we grow our crystals today, we are going to be talking a little bit about chemistry and geology. And those are two really big science words that we're going to break down a little bit later. So in just a minute, I'm going to go over what is in your take and make bag, and then we'll get started with our step-by-step instructions for growing our very own crystals. Are you ready to get started? Let's get to it. Go ahead and open up your take and make bag and lay everything out in front of you to make sure that you have everything you need to complete our project for today. In your take and make bag, you should have a sandwich bag that has 4 containers of borax. You should also have 8 popsicle sticks, 6 pipe cleaners, 4 pieces of white string, and a glass jar with a lid on it. And in the bag, you have supplies enough to make 4 crystals. And this is, again, what my finished crystals look like. So I have an orange one and a pink one. And the first thing that we're going to do today is we have to make a mixture that's actually going to help us grow our crystals. So what I want you to do is look at your 6 pipe cleaners, and you're going to be able to, again, make 4 different crystals today. So you're going to get to pick 4 of the 6 colored pipe cleaners to make into crystals. And I'm going to start off by making a purple one. So I'm going to pick the purple pipe cleaner and set all the rest of them aside. And then I'm going to go ahead and take just 2 of my popsicle sticks, and I'm going to set the rest of those aside. Then I'm going to take the lid off of my jar and set the lid aside. We won't be needing that. And then I'm going to take 1 piece of white string, set the rest aside, and then we're going to take 1 container of borax. So these are the supplies that you need to make 1 crystal. And that's what I'm going to be showing you today. And then you can repeat the steps that I've given you to grow 3 more crystals for a total of 4. The first thing that we're going to do is we have to make our little water mixture that's actually going to help us grow our crystals. And this is where the chemistry part of this project comes into play. So chemistry is a science word that means the science of what everything is made of and how things change when they mix or combine. So in this case, we're going to take this little container of borax and a jar of hot water, and we're going to mix those 2 things together to make something new. So the first thing that I want you to do is take the lid off of your borax and pour it into the empty jar. So that's going to be at the bottom of your jar. And then caregivers, I want you to help pour hot water into this jar with the borax. And the hotter the water, the better. The bigger your actual crystal is going to turn out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pour that hot water in there. And then I'm going to take 1 of my popsicle sticks and stir the borax. So we want to help dissolve the borax into the hot water. And what this is going to do is we are creating a what's called saturated solution. And this is what is going to help grow our crystals today. And what we want to do is we want to mix this until we don't see any more borax at the bottom. So we want to just make this water as cloudy looking as possible. So we're going to sit here and stir this for probably a minute or two. And go ahead and make sure that you're rubbing that popsicle stick across the bottom of the jar and in all the little corners and edges. And really just, we're going to sit here and mix. And crystals are considered a mineral. And a crystal is a solid with flat sides and a symmetrical shape because its molecules are arranged in a unique and repeating pattern. So we're going to be able to see when we actually get our fully grown crystal, you'll really be able to see the different flat sides and how there's kind of a pattern to the crystal and the way that it looks. And every crystal that we're going to grow is going to look completely unique. And if you're wondering how exactly we are growing these crystals today, so a little bit more of the chemistry behind this project is hot water. So when we pour that hot water into our jar, it holds more of the borax powder than cold water would. And that's because when water is hot, the molecules in the water move further apart from each other, making more room for the borax powder to dissolve, which is why the water turns from clear to kind of cloudy looking. And then what happens, as the water cools down, those water molecules move closer together and they hold more of the dissolved borax powder. And then the crystals begin to form and they build on one another and they let go of the water and it evaporates eventually. Okay, so I feel really good about my stirring. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pipe cleaner, and this is where we're gonna form the shape of our crystal. So we're gonna kind of bunch it up because our crystals are gonna build right around all of the parts of this pipe cleaner. So that's how I created a pink and an orange crystal. There's actually a pipe cleaner on the inside. So you can do whatever kind of shape you want by bunching it up. So that's what mine looks like. And then caregivers, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is help your little one tie the white string around a part of the pipe cleaner. And ultimately what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this second popsicle stick and tie the pipe cleaner that's attached to our string around it and then set it in the water, and then the pipe or the popsicle stick is going to prevent the string from dropping all the way in. So what we want to do is put the pipe cleaner in our solution. So we're going to tie this. I know once I tie this, I'll show you what it looks like here. So I've got a loop with my pipe cleaner attached, and then I can slide my popsicle stick in that loop, and then it's kind of dangling right now. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop it into our jar and let it kind of rest. And what we wanna make sure happens is, and this is where I might have to fix my knot a little bit, is we don't want the pipe cleaner to touch the bottom or the sides. So we want to make sure it's completely in the middle of our solution. So I'm going to have to actually cut this a little bit and then tie it a little bit tighter. That's okay if you have to do that. And then I'm going to cut off the kind of dangly strings because I don't want any of that in my solution. So now I have my borax water solution and my popsicle stick holding my completely submerged pipe cleaner over the jar. And the next thing is going to take a little bit of patience. So you have to wait a full day for your crystals to actually grow around your pipe cleaner and look like this one here. So you're just going to set this aside and let those crystals grow on our pipe cleaner for the next 24 hours. And you can check on it because you'll start to see crystals grow within a couple of hours of this water starting to cool down. And then what you can do is you'll take your popsicle stick and you'll see your entirely grown crystal, and caregivers, you'll just cut the strings and then let the crystal dry. So all the crystals have to dry once they've been removed out of the water after a whole 24 hours. So you can see here my orange and my pink finished crystals, and this is what they're going to look like once they're completely dry. And they're really hard. And when you take a really close look at them, you can see all the individual bits of your crystal, and you can see all those flat sides that we were talking about. That's why they kind of look sparkly, because the light is hitting the different sides of the crystal. And go ahead and just look and examine your crystals when you're done with your project. And this is where geology comes in. That's another one of those big science words that we mentioned earlier. And geology is the study of everything that makes up planet Earth, like rocks and mountains and volcanoes, and in this case, minerals. And again, that is what a crystal is considered. It's considered a mineral. So much for joining me today for Virtual STEM Club Littles Edition Crystal Magic. I hope you had all sorts of fun in putting together your crystal growing containers, and I would love to see any videos or pictures of you completing your project today, or your crystals when they're done, hopefully tomorrow when you check on them. So you can send those to us here at the library at the email address going across the screen now. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time for more STEM fun. Bye for now.